leverage buying out, right, like that, then when the asset prices collapse, then you are in trouble. So you need not even be a banking company, you could be a normal company and you're in trouble.
Yes.
Okay, so therefore the trouble has spread from this big financial thing onto the regular banks and onto the real companies. So many companies which have been operating in the global markets are actually now facing problem because they went in for various derivatives, they went in for various other instruments, and all of those have faced problem. So therefore the problem has spread. So when I meant to separate the real economy from the financial market, these interlinkages still exist and they will also have to be taken care of. If they're not taken care of, then the problems will continue. So in other words, what I've presented is only a part of the complexity. I could not give the full complexity in a short talk of say maybe 45 minutes. You know, for you it's boring to keep on listening to somebody, but even 45 minutes is not enough to lead you to into greater complexity of the problem.
Please.
So in other words, there's a problem.
Sure, sir. Amal, please, last question with you. Please. We'll discuss afterwards.
Foreign exchange rates and the disparity between the rates which are quoted and the purchase power parity. Would it undergo a major change or should it undergo a change?
May I request people to sit down for a few minutes?
For a few minutes.
For a few minutes.
See, this disjunction between purchasing power parity and the nominal rates, okay, why does that come about? That comes about because of the structures of the economy, right? Now, in the structures of the economy, okay, when there's a deep crisis that's taking place, then all this will also change, okay? For instance, today, nobody can tell you whether the rupee would rise or decline vis-a-vis the dollar. It'll all depend on expectations. If the dollarization of the world economy, which has been going down, continues, then the rupee would rise. If the dollarization revives, because in this time of crisis, where do people go? They're going to gold, they're going to gems and jewelry, they may go into dollar. If they start going back into dollar, then dollar will strengthen. So at this point, you cannot predict. And that's why my argument is that if somebody tells you that the economy will bottom out and start rising in 6 months, they don't know. They're only fooling you. If somebody says that the stock market will bottom out at 6,000 and start rising, they don't know, they're fooling you. At the moment, even understanding the depth of this crisis has not happened. So therefore, for somebody to predict that it'll turn around in 6 months, it'll turn around in 1 year, it'll turn around, if it goes into depression, then we are talking about 5 to 10 years. If it goes into deep recession, we are at least talking of 3 years. If the recession can be managed by various government intervention, maybe we are talking about 1 or 2 years. Okay. So at this point, we don't even know, because we don't even have a good handle on what government intervention will work, what kind of financial re-architecturing will take place. We don't have any good handle on any of this. Okay. So it's a very, very uncertain situation, and that is precisely why everybody is going liquid. Liquidity is being held. People are not investing. Okay. As it is, demand is declining everywhere. Export-related demand, other demand is declining. Okay. And investments are falling everywhere. So in this situation, what I find, you can see that people are withdrawing from mutual funds and going and putting into FDs. Okay, that's a safety device, because that's like money. Okay, so even though on breaking your mutual fund you'll make a loss, okay, today, but you're moving into that because at least you have that much certainty. And suppose the prices fall further 20%, then you would make a 20% loss, right? So liquidity is the way. So basic economic theory tells you whenever uncertainty increases, more people become liquid and more liquidity. And that's what is happening the world over.
We'll conclude with the last questions. In fact, the most complex and the most discussed topic world over today people are into, the way Mr. Arun Kumar has probably explained was the most simplest and with the absolute clarity. I am sure probably those who are sitting here will have a 1,000 times more clarity. We were just talking when we came over here that probably if you talk out of 100 people, 99 is not bothered about what is CRR and what is repo rate, but then it is what is talking about the people are. Probably if you talk all 100 people, they are more bothered about what is base rate today and what it will be tomorrow. That's the basic questions probably, and as he very rightly said, the people all over the world coming from the financial market talks about which bank, which institution to be saved rather than to talk about what we should give to the citizens. I am sure probably with his kind of knowledge at the level of a central, probably we as in India, what is very rightly shared about that it was in 1929, 30s and 39 which has led to the World War II. probably we are sure that with this kind of a crisis will never lead to the World War III. But then what has been emerged from 1929 is the IMF or in a World Bank. Probably it's an opportunity lies with India that we will come out with the new financial architecture, what he's talking about. And probably the crisis will be much, much easier for India to bear with. I once again thank you very much to Mr. Professor Arun Kumar for being with us. And before we leave, we have a co-colleague, Mr. Sunil Handa, with us. May I request Sunil ji to come over and offer a memento on behalf of the AMA? Thank you, Mr. Sunil. I once again thank you very much to all of you, and also thank you very much to Nipam Shah, under whose center we have organized these functions. Thank you very much. Good night to everybody.